Hi, I'm Ella, and welcome back to 5 Things. I'm a big Eurogamer, and as anybody like me, the mere mention of dice rolling sends shivers up our spines. But today, in this episode, I'm going to talk about 5 Euro games that changed my mind about dice forever. Number 5 on my list is Grand Austria Hotel. In this game, you play an owner of a cafe/hotel in Vienna competing for customers. You need to hire the right staff, grant every desire your guests have, and on top of that, gain the emperor's favor. You do all of this by selecting the correct dice, as the dice represent the actions in the game. What I love about this game is that it gives you really tough choices, given that there are only 2 actions per round. Picking the move with the most dice might give you resources this turn or allow you to prepare more rooms, but it might not be the best move. There's also a press your luck aspect to the game because you could pass for a reroll when you don't like the rolls for this round. That's a gamble though, and I've had that go horribly wrong. But when you're able to create a successful chain of actions, given the dice that you have, that score you a lot of points, there is no other joy equal to that. Number 4 is Voyages of Marco Polo. This is the game that actually introduced me to dice placement. In this game, you place your dice on an action space, and those dice allow you to travel around the Silk Road, or buy camels, or gold, or other goods to trade or keep. Or you can complete orders so you can be the best merchant around. You play a character with a special power, and that kind of steers what you may want to focus on. For example, Niccolo and Marco Polo get 2 travel pieces and a camel per round, so you might want to lean into traveling to get those points. Matteo Polo, on the other hand, gets 1 contract every round, so focusing on that might help you win. And these character abilities were so powerful, I didn't even believe we were playing it right the first time we played. It was exciting to exploit the powers you had and play off what other people were doing because you are taking other people's spots and they're taking yours, so you have to react if your plans are being foiled. So everything falls on what dice rolls you get and how well you use them, because you're able to mitigate those rolls either by paying in coins to occupy the same spot as another player, or you can use camels to reroll a die or add to its value, or buy an extra black die in order to get an extra action. This is the game where I began to understand why people call Euros crunchy. Number 3 is Troyes. In this game, we all aim to be the most influential family in Troyes. This is a worker placement game, but with dice. The board is broken up into 3 major areas where you focus on military, agriculture, and religion. One of the great things about the game is that if you have a bad roll and you see that other players are rolling 5s and 6s, you can actually buy those dice away from them before they can actually use them. But the more dice you're using, the more expensive they are, so you have to manage both those urges. Aside from that, you can mitigate your dice rolls. You can re-roll them, flip them to the other side by paying in influence points. And there are many ways to gain them. You want to perfectly manage several areas in the game consistently. You want workers, you want money, you want influence points. And just when you think you have it all planned, somebody takes your dice. Why? The game is just sweet, sweet torture. Number 2 is Coimbra. Coimbra is a dice drafting game where you use your dice plus currency, coins or shields, to buy character cards. Each card in turn gives the player influence in one of the 4 tracks in the game. One gives you shields, another gives you coins, another allows you to travel around the board, and the last one gives you straight victory points during the income phase. The most innovative mechanism in the game is that the dice are important for both their number and their color, depending on the phase you're in. So it's always a tug of war. I want that dice with that high number because I'll be able to draft cards first or earlier, but it doesn't activate the right track later on, so I won't get the right income. On top of that, the game ends in 4 rounds, which makes every decision you make an important one. This game is also so beautiful, so it makes the experience just so lovely. And speaking of art, my favorite, number 1 is Castles of Burgundy. The game is muted shades of green and brown, but despite that, I long to play it over and over and over again. In this game, you're an aristocrat trying to create the most developed principality. You do this by taking tiles from the game board and placing them on your own player board through the use of dice. The premise is simple, but there's a lot of strategy involved. Ultimately, what you want to do is fill up your player board. Each area you fill up, either with animals or castles or ships or building, gives you victory points. The roll of the dice, though, narrows the options that you have, and you have to make the most out of each turn. You only have 2 dice. There's a lot of strategy involved, but the game never feels overwhelming. The mathematical precision of the game, the structure, actually opens up a beautiful puzzle for you to solve. It's both smart and accessible, a most perfect mid-weight Euro. And those are my 5 things.